So let me start off by saying that DC Universe does have a lot of cool stuff on it. The problem is with DC Universe is that if you're a big DC or comic book fan, you've really digested a lot of the stuff that's on already. I mean, think about it. On the one hand, yes, you do have some of the really awesome animated series and movies and all that stuff, but you've already seen it. A lot of you probably already own at least quite a bit of it. So there's not going to be a lot of new things to ingest, right? So why would you spend a ton of money on a product that's not going to produce you a lot of new things? Which really, I think that the digital comics, depending on how many there are, that could be a selling point. Again, it kind of depends on how many they put out there. They're going to select it based on the things that are on the service, or possibly what they're trying to push in the comics at the time. That would make the most sense. But it's not going to be a ton of stuff, at least I don't think so. Because, if they put a lot of their more newer stuff or stuff that people wanted, well, then that would kind of detract from their sales or something. So, unless they use like some sort of sale or something like that, where if you have DC Universe, maybe you get a discounted price on buying digital comics or something like that, I could see that making them successful for the comic book people. But comics are, while they are successful, they're more niche compared to things like film, TV, stuff like that, right? Because those appeal to more the general audience. Not that comics can't, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Basically, people are going to pay more attention to a movie than a comic, right? I mean, that's just kind of obvious. So, aside from comics, which I think is a draw, and they have the exclusive merch, like whatever that's going to be, they haven't really detailed. I know they have some Justice League action figures they're going to sell, which for collectors, people that like the merch and stuff, like, okay, that's cool. And I'm not going to diss that at all. I think merch is cool. But I don't really think that's a good enough selling point, which really that boils down to the original series. And the only thing we have is Titans, and Titans is not looking too great. A lot of people have criticized it quite a bit, right? So with that, can this platform succeed, and what does it need to do to succeed, right? First off, I said this in quite a other videos before we got the official details on DC Universe, but I said they needed to launch with a lot of original series in order to get people aboard. Unfortunately, they're not doing that. They're pushing everything off to 2019. Now, the release window is very important. We have to pay attention to when this thing comes out, right? So, if this thing comes out in December of 2018, and then some of the other series come out in like January or February, I think that'd be okay, because it's a big enough window to where people who maybe they want to rewatch Superman 2 or something like that, right? They'll have that window where they can rewatch all the old stuff, and then the new stuff will roll in. They'll keep them there, right? Because after that initial buying period wears off, where it's like new and fresh and all this stuff that they haven't seen in so long, nostalgia basically. Nostalgia is only going to carry them so far. So I think what they have to do to make this thing succeed is they got to get those original series out there. Young Justice, Harley Quinn, Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, the new Stargirl series. There's probably other things I didn't think of. Did I say Swamp Thing? I probably did. But there's, whatever else they have down the pipeline, I'm sure they have other series as well. They need to get it rolling, right? And another thing they need to do is they need to get some good press on these series. Now, Young Justice has good press, but there's barely any press. That's kind of the problem. Like, Young Justice is like this dark horse that we never really see anything of it. So it's like when we do see stuff, it's like, oh, cool, but then it goes away and we don't see anything of it again, right? Where I feel like Titans has been more in the spotlight, I guess, with the controversy and all that. So I don't know. I feel like DC needs to do more of like getting people interested in the new stuff. So that way people say, oh, well, I have Netflix and I have Hulu and I have Amazon, but why would I want this DC thing, right? Make them want it. You got to make them want it. Because, I mean, we have to remember that, right? This is a very competitive time where there's a lot of these digital services cropping up, which, I think that kind of defeats the purpose of what the digital service was all about to begin with, where you just had like one or two really good ones, and it's like it had everything you wanted, and you didn't really have to worry about TV anymore. Now it's like there's so many of them that, there's no way you can get them all, and it sucks. So you have to kind of pick and choose. So DC, they got to really just etch themselves out, and they got to say, hey, this is why you should get us above other things. Nostalgia's only going to carry them so far. So they got to have some original series, definitely. Now, some other recommendations I would have, definitely go in on the comics. I think that comics get a lot of new readers. I think that's definitely something that could get them, going, bridge the gap, right? Because comics are typically associated with more of the nerdy nerds or whatever you want to say, right? So get the people who are more casual or maybe sort of moderate fans and get them into comics, and then they'll buy comics. I think that's very smart. So depending on how they do the comic thing, it might work. But again, comics only can appeal to so many people because there's that stigma, and now some people just aren't interested. So they have that. I also think they should do some other things, like maybe some web series. I think that'd be really cool if they did something like that, where maybe it was only like a few episodes or something like that, but it's something new. It's something original. Some people would argue, well, why is this on DC Universe? But, it's more content. They definitely need more of something. If they can't do a lot of high budget things, maybe they can do more of a web series. Something like, maybe like a lesser known character, or maybe a character that just doesn't require a massive budget. They can do something like that. There's a lot of awesome YouTube web series out there that people really enjoy that are based on DC or other superheroes. So, why not, get your hands in that. Heck, even hire maybe some of the good ones, like the guys from Bat in the Sun. I'm sure they'd love to do some official DC stuff with you guys if you just, open the door to them like, hey, you want to come work for us? They'd love that, and they'd be great. Just, throwing it out there. Also, I think they need maybe an original film or something like that on there. Now, they could do this with animation just as easily, just throw an animated movie on there that's only available on DC Universe. They could do that. Or they could just make some original, just something else, like an original animated thing, like animated movie, animated TV series. So far, we only have Harley Quinn and Young Justice, and DC's known for their animation, so I think they need to definitely go in more on that. Another thing I think that'd be really cool for them is behind the scenes stuff. Now, this kind of ties into what I was saying earlier, where DC hasn't really been super transparent with like a lot of the behind the scenes of how things come about, and all that. Like, we just don't really hear a lot about, like, Young Justice, for example. Just do some behind the scenes Young Justice stuff, throw it up there, make it a video, something like that. I think that'd be really cool if we could see that for like the films, like get an exclusive sneak peek, or get some sort of commentary, or stuff like that. People really do enjoy commentaries on films. Do that, do it on an animated series, get the creators back, something. Like, you need more. You need more meat on those bones for people to want them, right? So there's that. Yeah, definitely just more original stuff. Like, we just need more to ingest. And there's something I wanted to say, but gosh darn it, I forgot in the midst of talking about all of the, maybe they could do a podcast. And here's what I was going to say. I think that DC All Access is a neat idea for a YouTube channel, but I think they should do something like that for the DC Universe as well, or at least tie them together, do something. Maybe take the DC All Access and put exclusive things on the DC All Access, so that way, people are like, oh, well, I like DC All Access, and here's some cool stuff that they did that I haven't seen yet, so, hey, maybe I'll go and buy DC Universe so I can see that as well. And also, video games. They could do a lot with video games as well. They could have exclusive Let's Plays. They could have, again, behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe you could get Rocksteady on there, and they could talk about their next whatever big project it is. A lot of people were saying Superman. It could be. Or they could just get on there and talk about Batman, since they've had so much experience and expertise and all that. I think it'd be interesting. I think a lot of people would definitely check it out. The possibilities are endless. I mean, DC, you got a lot of awesome characters. You got a lot of awesome properties. It's just a matter of knowing what to do with it. You're kind of in a rut at the moment with a lot of the core audiences out there who have seen your films and are not impressed with the modern sort of take on a lot of things. So you got a lot of work to do, but I think you can do it. I would hate to see, this fail, because it has a lot of original series that could possibly be great. But, it's going to take some work, and it's going to take some great marketing and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like, DC Universe has some things against it, like where, one, they haven't really explained it a ton. Also, being in other countries aside from, what is it, just like the US. I know some people are making that an issue, which, I mean, hey, if you've got some international fans, you got to make sure they can get it too. So there's a lot they need to iron out. I think it can succeed, but it's going to be an uphill battle, because they've kind of damaged, I think, their initial image with having Titans on it, and also the price, and not really having a ton of really buying points. So That's just me. I don't know. Maybe some other people are really excited for it. Let me know down in the comments what you think. That's all I had for now. Catch you guys later. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a thumbs up as well as comment below your thoughts and any other topics you'd like me to cover in the future, as that greatly helps the channel. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because, as we all know, YouTube's system's a little bit funky these days when it comes to notifications. Lastly, make sure to check the description below for my social media.